So, sorry about that, but if I can introduce the amazing 3 out of 4 students that are going to be presenting the Ethiopian Pavilion project, plus some of the work that they were doing before that in the Gambia. So, Charles, Austin, Mandy, and Jos, who is absent. Unfortunately couldn't make it, but he's the 4th member. Okay, I'll let you.
So, hi. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Cross-Cultural and Continent Dialogues for the Entoto Pavilion project. Today we will have 3 student speakers, Austin, Charles, myself, Mandy, and 2 guest speakers, Mian Eng, and our client, Mascaram Asgard, if we can connect her at the end of the talk. And let's start. So first of all, I would like to introduce our student team from UWE, the Quad. I know, it's a very original name. Still better than Fabulous 4. Yeah, we totally scrapped that. The team comprises of 4 Master's Architecture students from UWE. And as you can see, we are missing one of us. It's Jos, who's getting married soon. Hey. So our team's first project together actually started in the Gambia back in January 2024. As part of our Masters of Architecture course, we had created an ecotourism master plan for a nature reserve. There we collaborated with local Gambian students and organizations. That's where we got the pleasure to meet Mian Eng, our project leader, who then got the entire team on board again for our 2nd African Project of the Year. And I will now hand over to Mian to talk more on the collaborations with our client.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Mian Eng, and I'm the UWE lead for the global partnerships in social and cultural engagement. Part of my responsibility is also to develop projects in Africa, and as part of UWE's African strategy. My portfolio encompasses making projects in different communities, grassroots communities, working with various organizations, NGOs, to ensure our students work collaboratively with local professionals, local NGOs, to ensure that the work that they do make impact to the local environment. And I'm very privileged to be able to work with Elias Sime. For those who have seen his exhibition in 2023, he has really opened up a lot of opportunities for us. And I was really privileged to be able to make connections and with him, and also with Mascaram Asgard, his collaborator, and with both of them we have been able to form partnerships and have embarked on several projects. One of the projects we did with Zoma Museum, Mascaram and Elias are both founders of Zoma Museum, famous for its vernacular architecture. And with their organization, we are able to do some really creative work with the school. We went out there with 3 students from education in May 2024 and did a whole range of cultural activities with them. During that visit, we have been really lucky and honored to be requested by Mascaram and Elias to to propose that we are going to do some really dynamic work with them in one of their ongoing projects at Entoto Park in Addis Ababa. They are currently commissioned by their Prime Minister to develop and to create cultural spaces for their people and for visitors into Ethiopia. So with that high-profile portfolio, I'm really excited to be able to accept that proposal from her. And straight away, the only people I can think of that I could work and to ensure the project delivered on time were those amazing students I work with in the Gambia. They have proven every bit of their ability, integrity, and also their way of communicating with different cultural groups of people. And also what excited me most were 3 of them were from different parts of the world. And to bring them together to Africa, and with Jos, who's unfortunately he can't be with us, from UK, that makes an amazing team from UWE. And I'm really proud of what they have done and achieved in such a short time. They will tell you their story in a minute, but before I pass on my part to them to relate their process, I would really like to talk a bit about Zoma Museum and the founders, Mesgrum and Elias. I made a film with Elias and Mesgrum while I was there before their exhibition in Arnolfini. And during this time, I got to learn so much from 2 amazing creative practitioners whose enthusiasm and passion is about sharing knowledge, is about collaborating with the world. So there are a few more exciting projects that they want to work with us in UWE, and I'm really honored to be able to do that. So without further ado, I will play the film just to give the audience a bit of context about their work, their ethos, about their passion, about their care for the environment and their community. So I hope you enjoy the film. After the film, I will pass back to the students.
Elias Sime is one of Africa's acclaimed contemporary artists. He creates intricate tapestries from technological detritus, braiding wires and a collage of computer circuit boards to create visually stunning abstract works.
ተጠቀምባቸው በተለይ አሁን ሰራቸው ላይ ኤሌክትሮኒክስ ነው ብዙ ኤሌክትሮኒክ ምክንያቱም እኔ ማስበው ይህ ቴክኖሎጂ ሁላችንም የነካካል ነው ይመስለኝ
For over 2 decades, he's been collaborating with Mesgrum Assegood, who has been pivotal in enabling his work to reach a wider international audience.
I'm a strong believer that collaboration, any kind of relationship, is key to a lot of success.
These 2 pioneers are also the co-founders of the groundbreaking Zoma Museum in Addis Ababa. They have also created public gardens with sculptural landscapes that blur the boundaries between art, gardens, and architecture. Their first collaboration was in 2002, when they established an art center and residence that became a platform for Elias to showcase his artistry.
This is Zoma Contemporary Art Center. This place is where we began. It's like our baby, and we are very sensitive about it. It's made with mud and straw, and the reason why is because the city administration told us that if we can get a restoration or permit, the process was much easier. So that's what we did, and what was here was mud building, and so the artwork happened with that because it's so much fun to work with mud. And it also went along with what we were planning to do, which is vernacular architecture. I'm working on a piece of art, or pieces of art. These are all kinds of creatures here, and they're all carved. And this is Elias Sime who carved all this stone. Every door is a work of art. When we go inside, we see this wood mosaic made with all kinds of different wood. The colors are the actual colors of the wood. And if you look in this house, every window is like a frame. It's meant to bring the outside to the inside. And you can see the walls are not straight, some are in, some are out. A lot of the work that you see there is a lot of Elias here. Every door is made by Elias, and all the wood carving that you see on the doors or on the wall are all made by Elias. Yeah, this is a small Zoma.
As well as working with wood, stone and mud, much of Elias's early art pieces involve stitching yarns and sewing buttons on canvas. And there are similarities with his more recent work, where he braids cables, dissects and reshapes circuit boards to create abstract works of art that are metaphorical and explore the human condition.
እኔ አሁን ይህንን ሳይ ብዙ ነገር ነው ማስታውሰው። ኮምፖዚሽን አስባለው፣ ሂስትሪ አስባለው፣ ኬት ነው የመጣው ምናምን የሚለውን አስባለው። ልክ የራሱ አንዱ ቦርድ ብዙ ታሪክ ያለው አይነት ነው ወስዶና ሁልጊዜ ለኮምፖዚሽን ይሆናል አይሆንም ከማለቴ በፊት ብዙ ጊዜ የመጡትን መጎብኘት ፈልጋለሁ። እንደዚህ ተበትነው አይደለም የመጡት፣ እንደዚህ ታሽገው ስለሆነ አውጥቼ ሁልጊዜ የማየት እንትኑ አለኝ። ምናልባት ለኮምፖዚሽን የሚረዳኝ የሚሰማኝ ነው የምሰራው። ምክንያቱም ቴክኖሎጂው ራሱ እየቀደመን ነው። ይህን የምሰራበት ምክንያት ቆመን እንድናስብ ነው። ቴክኖሎጂ አያስፈልግም የሚል እንትን የለኝም። አያስፈልገኝም አይደለም እያልኩ ያለሁት፣ ያስፈልጋል። ኦኬ፣ ግን ብዙ ነገር እየወሰደብን ነው። የተለያዩ አይዲያዎች ነው ማውራት የምፈልገው። አንዳንድ ጊዜ ስለ ህይወት፣ አንዳንድ ጊዜ ስለ ፍቅር፣ አንዳንድ ጊዜ ስለ ላንድስኬፕ፣
Another theme Elias continues to explore is vernacular architecture. In 2019, he and Mescarim co-founded the Zoma Museum, an environmentally conscious international art centre that was also home to a library, gardens, and a school. And like the aesthetic developed in Little Zoma, many of the buildings were constructed using traditional building techniques. The sculptural relief work and carvings on their outer walls, elevating them to works of art.
He sees Zoma as an institution of incubation. I think we see ourselves as incubators. And as such, I think we can work with many institutions around the world who can either learn from us or even bring new knowledge to us. It's a place where we exchange knowledge or we work together. We are strong believers that collaboration is much better than competition. Many of the buildings here at Zoma are built with traditional buildings, or what you call vernacular architecture, which is found all over the world. This particular building that you see here is made from mud and straw. All the artworks that you see on the wall, they're actually molded directly on the wall, are made by Elias Sime, and they're all narratives. Each building has its own narrative. Like the wall I'm sitting right now has our logo behind me, and then it has, when you walk around it, it has all the Ethiopian Guinness numbers, and then other walls have different stories. These buildings are extremely sustainable. Also, you don't need air conditioning. Right now we're sitting in a house built with mud, and the temperature is consistent. When it's very hot, it's similar. When it's very cold, it's similar. It keeps it relatively warm. That in itself is an environmentally sound construction technique that's been around for thousands of years.
Zoma's striking earthen architecture and its environmentally sustainable ethos attracted many plaudits. And after visiting Zoma, the Ethiopian Prime Minister invited Elias and Mescarim to build a public garden which was being established in the grounds of the presidential palace.
The whole idea was, how do you transform that compound so it could become a tourist attraction, as well as how do you make it environmentally sound? And so we did. Elias and I think we'll continue doing what we're doing. And the whole idea is, how do we pass on this institution to the next generation? So our future is, a few years from now, we both want to retire. And I'm sure Elias will keep working his art till he dies. I probably will start advising the committee here, so I don't become the center of Zoma, but I become the advisor. That is really my dream of what this place should be.
What do you think about our video? Thank you, Mian, so much for sharing such a beautiful documentary. Now let's continue forward. Don't fly back to Bristol yet. Stay in Ethiopia. To us, Ethiopia, it's more than just a location. It's a living context. The project requires the team to listen closely, learn, and respond to the material culture, climate, and most importantly, its people. Zooming into Ethiopia, the cradle of African civilizations, with over 80 ethnic groups, this country is a mosaic of cultures, and Addis Ababa, its capital, it's where the soul of this project was rooted. The diversity, language, traditions of this land shape every step of our design process. I will now walk you through the timeline. It all begins on August 9, 2024, when we received the brief from Mian. Honestly, it felt like someone handed us a hot potato on a very hot summer, if anyone can remember summer of last year. Fast forward to the end of September, the design was finalized, and by October 26, we were on a plane to Ethiopia. Finally, on November 11, our pavilion proudly stood tall, woven with ropes, bamboos, and the power of friendship. Not really. It's more about the beauty of collaborations. We did enjoy the hot potato though. In summary, we took 1 month of design development, 1 month of technical designs, 1 month of procurement, and 2 weeks of constructions. During our time in Ethiopia, we were such blessed guests that we are able to stay in Elia's first architectural project, the Little Zoma, from the video before. It acts as a guest house and a prototype to the Zoma Museum. And here you can see similar sculpted facades that of the museum. And we have our romantic dinner under the bright sky, no, not bright, under the dark skies, full of stars. And then we have Mian there, enjoying the sun, while Bristol was cold in January, yeah. And then we have the boys sitting there, acting cool. Now let's take a moment to travel through the hills of Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, mentally of course. I know it's summer. And welcome to Entoto Park, a park with stunning natural beauty, cultural richness, and now, thanks to a collaboration between 2 countries, a new pavilion that celebrates connection, local craft, culture, and creativity stands on its ground. Entoto Park, it's where the latest project of Elias, the Zoma village, resides. Sitting 3,200 meters above sea level, it overlooks the city and cradles centuries of history and natural wonders. Imagine designing in a place where the forest whispers, with the wind and clouds pass at eye level. The brief is deceptively simple. Transform a platform of concrete slab, 213 square meters, and 10 lonely columns into a pavilion of gathering space using local sustainable material. The area is allocated for future aspiring architects and students to design and build a temporary structures. But as aspiring architects, we knew that this is more than just a brief. It was a calling to reimagine, reconnect, and co-create. And thus, we became part of the first team to build a pavilion for the Zoma village. And here is the site, a blank stage at the entrance of Zoma village. Those columns are like ghosts of an unfinished structure, and our challenge to reimagine this secluded space into something welcoming, alive, and deeply embedded in space. Here, we have the other half of the team from Ethiopia. From left to right, we have McLeod, Ebenezer, Nahum, Kaukadan, Bamla, and Ebenezer. Unfortunately, they don't have a name, like us. Throughout the design stages, technical detailing, procurement, constructions, the 6 students from EIABC were our eyes, ears, and mouth for this project. They were the bridge between us and the local craftsmen in Ethiopia. Now I'll let Austin talk on the designing stages of our project.
Hi. So, moving on to the design stage of the project. we were presented with a unique challenge. While we had freedom to almost design anything, there was one strict condition: we had to build entirely out of natural materials. This immediately shaped every design decision from the start. At the heart of this project was the desire to create something that could merge Zoma's ethos of craft, community, and material honesty with a contemporary design. We wanted a design that would represent fusion, an amalgamation of modern architectural methods with Ethiopian vernacularism. This led us directly to the material of our choice: bamboo. Why bamboo? Because it's highly versatile. It's linear yet flexible. It has excellent tensile strength. It's lightweight, rapidly renewable, and naturally sustainable. Perhaps more importantly, Ethiopia is one of the world's largest producers of bamboo. By using bamboo, we not only responded to its structural advantages, but also highlighted Ethiopia's emerging bamboo industry, bringing attention to its local and global potential. Moving on to our concept design. With bamboo as our primary material, we needed a form that could fully exploit its natural strength while also offering spatial richness. We turned to parametric design using Grasshopper to explore a wide range of possibilities. Parametric tools allowed us to rapidly generate and text complex geometries, adjusting parameters like curvature, span, and beam orientation. We were particularly drawn to hyperbolic paraboloid geometries. The reason for this is simple. Hyperbolic surfaces allow you to create flowing organic curves using purely straight linear members, perfectly suited for the structural nature of the bamboo. At the same time, these geometries offered inherent structural efficiency. Loads could be distributed smoothly across the members. Openings could vary in scale and proportion, allowing light and air to filter through the pavilion. In short, we could create an immersive, expressive, and a visually dynamic structure while maintaining the simplicity in fabrication. Of course, design on screen is very different from design in reality. We spent several weeks iterating, bouncing between digital simulation and physical models. Building prototypes became a critical part of testing, how these geometries would have been transformed into actual materials. These digital models gave us precision and control over form, but the physical tests immediately revealed material realities. In Grasshopper, every member is perfectly straight, every joint perfectly aligned. In reality, bamboo is far less predictable. No two poles are identical. There are always variation in diameter, curvature, straightness, and even texture. And while this variability gives bamboo its character, it also demands a flexibility in construction. So even as we refined our digital models, we knew from the beginning the model will serve only as a guiding framework, but not a rigid set of instructions. Moving on to our further design processes. As we pushed further into the design, it became very clear that achieving a truly freestanding structure only held by rope tension is not going to be possible. The digital simulations could take us only so far, and that's when we recognized we need expert guidance. We consulted with Dr. Hector from UWE. He's one of the world's foremost bamboo specialists who brought down deep knowledge on how bamboo performs in real-world structural conditions. Through these consultations, we identified several key areas of structural vulnerability in our design. With this input, we refined the system, adding stabilizing elements where necessary, while still preserving the light and open character we aim for. The site itself played a major role in how the design evolved. Located on the sloping hills of Entoto Park, the terrain presented both opportunities and challenges. While we had carefully studied the topography to ensure that the pavilion not only integrated with the landscape, but also remained structurally viable. The varying heights of the hyperbolic surfaces were adjusted to negotiate with the slope while maintaining stability and visibility. The varying heights of the subtle vertical shifts allowed structure to respond organically to the terrain while preserving its intended fluidity. One of our most ambitious design features was the 8-meter cantilever, a visually dramatic projection that created a sense of openness and an outward reach. But as we moved closer to realizing the design, the particular difficulties of constructing such a long cantilever without prefabrication, heavy machinery, or precise factory-level fabrication became very clear that it's not possible. So we decided to adapt. We developed what we called a fork cantilever or a fake cantilever. By making the beam directly above one of the existing columns, we maintained the visual illusion of a cantilever while safely transferring the load directly into the column. the existing concrete columns actually became critical structural assets for us. Rather than treating them as obstacles, we incorporated them by design as anchoring points for our structure. Now let's move on to the technical design of our project. The primary form established, we turned our focus on to detailing out the connections. Some columns supported simple beam intersections, 1 or 2 bamboo members crossing at a single point. Others involved much more complex stacking, with multiple beams converging at different angles, all tied together. Every joint had to be structurally considered to ensure structural integrity, ease of assembly, and tolerance to inevitable variability in bamboo size and shape. And we had to consider the fact that winds were going to be really strong because we were building at an altitude of 2,600 meters above sea level. What you see at the end over there are the cantilever beams where we decided to break it right above the columns. 1, 2 with some, the stacking had to be made perfect, otherwise the structure was going to fail. Moving on to the next one. With the primary form established, we turned off, While we were deeply committed to the traditional hand-built approach, there were moments where we needed to integrate modern techniques to ensure accuracy and safety. During the assembly, we used C-clamps, threaded bars, and ratchet straps. These are diagrams created by Charles, which explained how we were going to construct them on site. Everything was done prior to the project, before we arrived in Ethiopia. These tools allowed us to adjust the tension and members before finalizing the connections with the rope. Once aligned, we applied traditional rope wrapping techniques, as seen over here and here, maintaining the craftsmanship at the heart of the pavilion. To coordinate all these steps, we created a step-by-step construction manual. Basically, it looks like an IKEA construction manual. That kind of was our inspiration. To coordinate all these steps, this manual broke the build sequence into clear, manageable phases, ensuring that both our team and the local craftspeople could work efficiently on site. By the end of the technical design phase, we had developed a system that was digitally sophisticated and physically achievable. The design stayed true to its original concept, while fully respecting the realities of working with hand-built, low-tech construction methods using natural materials. That brings us to the conclusion of our design stage and sets the foundation for what follows next. That's scheduling, procurement, and finally, on-site assembly. So let me pass the stage back to Mandy, where she's going to talk about the procurement and scheduling.
Thank you, Austin, for all the technical terms. So before procurement, we had to calculate the structural specification for the entire pavilion. And in total, we had 10 existing concrete columns, the lonely ones, 14 beams to shape the form, and 45 vertical bamboo columns to make sure the pavilion stays up. Together with the EIABC students, we began to survey the market for the pricing and stock of the materials needed for the constructions. In total, we had calculated an estimated number of 57 bamboo mats, 90 bolts, 90 nuts, 90 washers, 150 C brackets, 150 pieces of 7-meter bamboos, and 4,000 meters of rope, totaling up to 140,200 birr, or just 750 pounds only. Did you get more anxious as the numbers got bigger? We definitely did. So maybe the biggest amount in this project is the number of emails. There were plans to treat the bamboos, but unfortunately, due to time constraints, we had to work with untreated ones. Luckily, a new pavilion is set to be rebuilt and redesigned every 6 months on that site. And furthermore, the lifespans of the untreated bamboo last up to a few months and maximum up to a few years, depending on the environment. I will now stop with the technical details and pass over to Charles so that he can show you the beautiful scenic views we had and pictures of us working very hard during the construction.
So before diving into constructions, I would like to give you a quick look at Addis Ababa. It might surprise some. It's a bustling city with high rises, full glass facades, and infrastructure that feel just as developed as many global capitals. A lot of these rapid urbanizations, especially the skyline and new roads over there, all came through international investment, particularly from China. Now, here's the contrast. This photo taken in the same area. While some parts of Addis have developed rapidly, others still hold on their vernacular roots, traditional constructions, and way of life. These are more snapshots taken on our journey to site, giving you a sense of the everyday landscape we pass through. So here's something interesting. Ethiopia follows its own calendar system. The photo on the left was taken in what we call 2024, but locally it was 2017. They have 13 months in a year, 12 months of 30 days, and a month of 5 or 6 days. And of course, we couldn't miss on trying furfur, which you can see in the middle, a local dish, and Ethiopian world famous coffee, which Austin really likes. We share cultures through food. On the left, you can see part of the traditional Ethiopian coffee ceremony with incense as a part of the ritual. In the middle, you can see we have honored to have masculine and elders to join us for cooking sessions. Thanks to Austin for preparing these wonderful, authentic Indian dishes with a spice he brought from home. And on the right, we are pleased to have a jazz night with Mian, which is quite a show in Addis. So these images are from a museum we visited in Entoto Park. It gives us insight on how art is valued there. A blend of traditional and contemporary, spiritual and playful. Here's where the construction began. When we arrived, it was honestly a bit shocking. We expected the materials from the procurement list to be ready. Instead, we are greeted by piles of untreated bamboos and not much else. The first 3 days were rough, and uncertainty, chaos, language barriers, and a lot of disagreements. At one point, it felt impossible to believe that we could build anything in time. But eventually, we pulled ourselves together. We sorted and trimmed the bamboo by size, started planning and sequencing the divisions of tasks, focused on what could be done at that particular moment. One of the biggest challenges was communication. The bamboo specialists, we can see over there on the first picture, didn't speak English at all, and the local students who helped translate weren't always on site. Here, you can see them showing us how to scrape off the mold to help preserve the bamboo, and there's Mian over there helping us cleaning as well. Our initial plans was to raise all the bamboo first and add beams. But with the material delay and some part missing, we adapted. We decided to build one hyperbolic module at a time. Also, instead of screwing the bamboo directly into the columns as shown previously, we used C-brackets to support the members, and that's the only thing we have at that moment. This was one of those moments where different perspectives came into play. Our design aimed to be as sustainable as possible. We suggested extending the bamboo by joining shorter pieces together, especially when the full length wasn't available. But the engineers over there had a different approach in mind and recommended using hollow core steel instead. As you can see, the last picture, even after securing it with a strata bar, there were still some gaps. So the bamboo specialists tried to bridge those by slotting in the bamboo picks to fill the spaces in between. Honestly, we weren't really confident at the time, but when the longest beam, which is this one, were finally went up and held, that changed the mood completely. It was our first hyperbolic structure, but that time it's just the primary structure. And I think that photo was taken around day 6 or 7. And that time, completing the pavilion still felt like a mission impossible. And finally, we got the structural engineer to join us on site. We are expecting detailed calculations, technical checks, maybe a spreadsheet or two, but instead, he gave the structure a firm shake, kicked at the base slightly, and confidently said, "It works." We were still a bit anxious about reliability at that point, but local team seems very calm and assured. Maybe that's the part of working with bamboo. It's just a versatile and unpredictable materials. You can't really plan everything. Sometimes just more like trusting the process and experience. Huge thanks to Sammy. We can see the gentleman in blue on the first picture. He was our problem solver, bridging language gaps, suggesting quick fixes like the time we ran out of C brackets. Instead of waiting to get orders, which probably might take like 2 to 3 days, he replaced them with the steel strips on the spot. Even with sudden power cuts and heavy rains, Sammy is still carrying us forward. Once the primary structures were up, we moved on to planning the rafters. As you can see in that photos, rafters are the intersects at the center in the crisscross patterns, forming a woven surface that follows the hyperbolic geometry of the structure. Because of the weight concern, the design kept evolving on site. We have to make adjustments directly on site, adapting as we went along to suit the conditions and the materials we had. We split the bamboo in halves and quarters to make it flexible for weaving. You can see the textures and the overlaps in the photos. It was all hands-on, intricate process. By day 11, we had the full structure up. Maybe the local team was right. Overthinking doesn't really help. But we still don't, at that time, we still didn't have roofing materials yet. It was quite tense, but we kept going. We did face some serious technical issue over time, like cracks in the bamboo whenever we drill too close to the edge. To fix that, Sammy and the engineer suggested wrapping them with steel wire to prevent it from further splitting. They were also concerned about the cantilever sections. Originally planned to be 8 meters in height, like what Austin said. We cut it down to 5 meters to make sure Sammy wouldn't do crazy stuff. This is fun part, covering the cold concrete columns with woven ropes. It took like, I think it's 4 kilometers of ropes. That's a lot of them. And we tried doing it ourselves, but it took us a whole day for just a half columns, and the worst, we left glue stain everywhere. But really big thanks to these professional weavers who make it look effortlessly with their traditional techniques. We also make ourselves tripods from bamboo poles. To record everything, it was nice to step back to capture these moments when we happened to have extra time. We'll show a short video at the end with some of those moments. So this is on day 13. We finally had a bit of breathing rooms. We prototyped bamboo chimes, experimenting with the different lengths and joints to get the best sounds and form. You can see we have real things over here. We bought it from Ethiopia by plane. And this might be the best part. Chimes were going up, roofing materials when it arrived, and we could laugh, breathe, and enjoy the build, and even dance underneath it. We did final inspections, check all connections, and make sure it was stable and safe. And that was the last step before we could call it complete. Personally, I really love how the shadows from the woven roof falls onto the grounds, and how the chimes dance with the winds. It kind of reminds me of some sort of musical rhythms things. So here we are, UWE and EIBC teams together. Tired, proud, and still a little in disbelief. Finally, a heartfelt thanks to Mian and Masker. When everything seems to fall apart during constructions, they held it all together. As a student, I was often get lost, but they quietly work behind the scene to bring these visions to life. We will now play a short video showing the journey of this project. Please enjoy.
ሰማለው ከጥሟላ ለምሻለሜ አለምስቴሽ መቻቃለው እንኳንስ እንዲቀርበሽና ሳይቀልሽ ላለቅሽ ምላለው ሆኗል መምሽመሜ እንባምን በወጣሽ ቱበይላ ብርድልሽ ገላጋይ ክሎ እንዳሰርሽ እንባምን በወጣሽ ቱበይን ያለሙሽ ገላጋይ Lunacy Alçalım malef gefto Ndala yeşaynayto Joroe mail ketto Yeraswa guday semto አልገምት ይዤ ጫፉን ጥርስሽ ዘግቶ ደጃፉን ላግዝ ሀሳብ መቅዘፉን ግርበብ አርጊ አፍ በራፉን አልቻለም ማለፍ ገፍቶ እንደ ሩቅ ሰው አይኑ አይቶ ብሎልሻል ቃል ገብቶ ችላ ይልሽም ሰምቶ እናስቀሽ ላይ ላዩ አርቀሽ እኔን ባዩ ሳይሆን እንደማይሆን
Thank you. It's a shame we couldn't connect Max Girl now, but we'll try to connect her. And right now we'll open the floor to Q&A sections, and we are happy to take conversation further and broaden the discussions. So please, we are passing the mics in a second.
Hi. Firstly, I would like to say Bristol M Brilliant. It's incredible work. I've got two questions. One is aimed at the three of you. So if you could, the person who you are now, if you could jump in a TARDIS, which is a time machine, and go back, what would you tell yourselves if you could jump in a time machine and go back to when you arrived on the day and you were experiencing all these wonderful challenges? What would you tell yourself? And then the second question is really about Bristol as a global city. We say that we speak 91 languages. I think it's a little bit more than that. So I'm just wondering, what connection did you make with the community, the home communities here and there? So there's a direct connection between the two.
I'll start with the time travel question. If I can turn back time, it's the procurement. So get them sorted out as soon as possible, because the bamboo needs time to come. They have lots of bamboo in Ethiopia. It's a developing industries, but different types of bamboos, they need to be transported. It takes a lot of time. These projects like that, if you want to make it work, with good bamboos, something that lasts long, it takes time to transport them from a different city, and it takes lots of effort to clean them, to treat them, and other than that, maybe prepare more
realistic expectations.
More realistic expectations, yeah, because we are, as you heard before, we are aiming for like 8 meters. We didn't realize the range of machineries we have there. They asked us to be prepared, like we won't have big heavy machineries, but then we never expect to have a ladder and a drill and a hammer, that's all. So it's a fun challenge to adapt for this project, but we could do more if we are more prepared for it.
And moving on to your second question, I would say in terms of cultures, yes, it is very contrasting. I mean, like all three of us, we've been here to the UK for the first time. We came here 2 years back and we've been going along with the flow. And let's say maybe we integrated a bit too much. And then once we did go back to Ethiopia, it was a bit hard in the beginning, I guess. Communication with the local people, its difference of culture, difference in construction standards as well. Let's say we expected a certain set of things to be prepared for us, but it's not the same. You can't expect the same. What else would you say?
I guess in terms of connections, it's all about working, understanding. This project really helps about differentiating our jobs and kind of clarifying which part of our job is for these projects. And connections wise, it's a fun time. Towards the second week of the projects, we didn't have much barrier anymore. It's almost like friendships and collaborations kind of cross over those cultural differences. We started dancing, we started laughing with even the workers who we don't know each other's language. Kind of true. It's like a universal language of collaborations. When you work together for 2 weeks, you understand each other through heart. I know it's a bit cheesy, but it is. We had a very fun time.
I'll pass. I'll try to connect Esther.
Guys, have anything else?
Had you worked with bamboo before?
Not to this extent. A bit, I guess, in the past. I think all of us have worked previously during our undergrads back in our countries, but what we had done over here in terms of the structural part as well, working with Hector, like the structural system was unique. It was tailored specifically for the project, and it's the first that's been constructed like this. So I guess that was quite interesting, and it was a good experience as well for us.
Would you? I was going to say, would you use bamboo again?
Oh, definitely, yes.
The other time I've seen bamboo was a scaffolding in India, and it was amazing. So I think it's a fantastic material. It's great to see it being used in the way you've used it. I can't imagine. I mean, you talked a little bit about arriving and being prepared. So I think, did you say there were two bamboo specialists? You had two guys. When you were introducing people at the end.
So we would say they're like local craftsmen who work with traditional structures, vernacular buildings and stuff like that.
Can I come into that? The
Yes.
specialists are builders of bamboo houses.
Yes.
In southern Ethiopia,
Yes.
there's a community that live only in bamboo houses.
Right.
So
So you
they
brought
were
them
the
up.
construction
Yeah.
and builders for bamboo houses.
Right.
So Zoma Museum Masquerade has brought the specialists to come and help with the project.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
Yes, great.
so the experience with students were amazing.
Yes.
Working with knowledge that has been passed on for centuries in other parts of Ethiopia,
Yeah.
understanding material, the environment, and they get to know how things work in a different way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
That's
in
beautiful.
terms of, I'm just thinking of the logistics of arriving, and you've done this wonderful design at the university, and then you're like,
Yes.
in the space where you're going to turn it into reality. I mean, did you have tools, or did you go out and buy
There
tools?
weren't many tools.
Because you had all that rope. I mean, that's thick
we
rope.
had
You
to-
have to
we had
sew
to-
it.
yes.
On the first day, when we reached the site, we had a pile, maybe 150 bamboos on the floor.
Yes.
That's all. And then we went around like, can I have at least a ladder, please? And then we started finding the people, talking.
Right.
And especially those workers are part of the alias other architectural projects.
Okay.
So they kind of like lent us 3 of their workers. So we started finding the finance people. Where is the land, please? And then start calling the students, asking them to go to the market and buy them. Yeah, that's the miscommunication bit. We thought that we already agreed with the selections and everything, and they already started buying them and procuring them. Until we reached there, and they were like, they're waiting for our decisions and our confirmations. And it was very hectic. We kind of started only at the end of the week to start putting all the bamboos out. Yeah, throughout the time it's just lots of prepping, cleaning the bamboos. Yeah. And at the beginning we thought we'd just go there as designers, but we end up being quite a workout for the 2 weeks.
Yeah, great. It sounds fantastic and a good one.
Hey, yes, having been on the master's course with you all, trying to say a huge well done for the work that you're able to produce. And my question is, from what you've been able to do, how has your perspective on what is possible next in terms of outreach work in another nation, or have you been able to have any insights on the need for such projects in the future?
I would say it's absolutely necessary. This experience opened up a lot of things for us. Before we actually started this project, even the first time when we actually did it in Gambia, I would say all of our mindset were a bit closed off. We weren't that open to collaborating. We were like, you know what, it's part of a module. Let's go get it done and come back, let's get our marks. But Gambia did change it for us. Working with the students over there, working with the people, especially Pauline, and there was Famra, everyone who collaborated with us in Gambia, just made us realize that, you know what, this is something we like and we really want to do. And that's when we were like, Nyan, you know what, as soon as you have a project, just push it on to us. Ethiopia was even better. Ethiopia was a proper architectural project where we collaborated, where we worked, and the students were final year students where we, how would you say, the relationship was a lot better because back in Gambia, they were like first and second year students, kind of started learning a lot from us instead, but here it was a good cross collaboration. Even the professors, their staff was involved. I mean, like, and at the same time, Ethiopia is a bit more developed as well.
I feel like this kind of international projects are very essential for aspiring architects, especially that during our courses and modules, it's all about you, your project, how you present, how you want. It's kind of lonely in some sense. And then for those who've never worked before, they had this mindset of, I have to do everything myself. I have to, if I don't know anything, I'll keep quiet. But in these collaborative programs and projects, there's no time and you literally had no time to think about, what if I might offend someone, or I'm shy. You just go in ahead like, what can I do? What can I help? We need to make this work. That's like, you learn that a project or architecture project doesn't just happen by one people. It's a team effort. You need every single manpower, everyone working together, having that visions to make it happen, to make that building or the structure stands.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentations. That was really great, and I really love the structure that you built there. I'm going to ask a really silly question. What was the structure being used for?
The structure is more of an expression for Zuma. So I'm not sure whether you've heard of the Serpentine Pavilion in London that's been constructed every year where different architects and artists are invited. So they wanted to recreate something similar in Ethiopia, provide a space for African artists, emerging artists to come display their works, like architects like Francis Carey. That's one of their aims in the future, I guess. So that's kind of the aspect of the design.
Thank you, that was really interesting, and it's a beautiful design at the end. I wondered, it seemed like you did a huge amount of work in quite a short period of time, and I wondered what the kind of benefits and challenges were of working in such a restricted time span.
Working in such a short time constraints, I guess it kind of narrow down our options. It's like we don't have to decide. When you have big project, big budget, it's kind of when like, these are all the options, choose one. So with such a short time, we go like, we can't do all this, let's go with this. So same like, at first there are proposals about treated bamboos. There's hundreds of ways of treating a bamboo to make it last longer. So they're saying that this structure is 6 months only, so we don't need it to be treated. And if it's moved to another locations, they'll be using, replacing better bamboos and new bamboos. So these are all not a concern for us. And without treatments, that's a smaller budget for us as well. Like, it works for our budget as well, for a student project. And we didn't have to procure materials, those long bamboos from a different state. So all the bamboos, the 150 bamboos we saw on site, they are procured locally in Addis Ababa itself.
And one more thing regarding the time constraint is, I mean, we were made to be more pragmatic over there. I mean, like, all of our ambitions, all of our, what we wanted to do, let's say for the cantilever, for example, we designed something for 8 meters, we thought it was actually going to work, but no, it absolutely would not, because we could not put up scaffolding or anything. The only thing we actually had on site was a ladder. We didn't really want to share the images of how we put up the cantilever for safe and legal issues. We are definitely going to get in trouble if we share those pictures over here. But I guess this was very fast-paced and dynamic. A few of us have been in practice before, and yes, it was in different fields. I've been in corporate, and Mandy's done a certain set of projects. Charles was a freelance architect before this, so we had different expectations, but this made us realize, I mean, this has pushed us into a different form, or let's say, I'm not sure, different type, I guess, a type of construction that's going to be a mix of modern and local vernacular techniques. So it kind of came together at the end.
I want to add a word. It really humbles us down as aspiring architects. It was probably like building all those strange, organic, concrete, curvy buildings. And then when you do the real thing, build a real stuff, and you met those local experts. They know more stuff than us. They are the pros. So we go in, we're like, please help us. And we totally had to listen to them. And then a lot of compromises and understanding from their point of view. And especially with the two expert workers, we actually interviewed them, and they totally judged us with our design because they are the traditional expert builders. They weren't sure about our design working, but towards the end they love it. They love how everything comes together.
Did you get to see the traditional bamboo buildings in Ethiopia?
Yeah, quite a few of them we did. There's a few that's already been constructed in Zoma village and some in the Zoma museum. The builders did show us a few of the images because it's from the villages and south of Ethiopia, as Mian had mentioned. But that's more of the interesting parts, I guess, because what they did say was every aspect, let's say their chairs, their beds, everything is made out of bamboo. They have societies fully constituted only using bamboo and nothing else.
I was just going to ask, what was it like working with the other students? What do you think you learned from each other, and also what the other students might have taken away from the experience as well?
I would say we've been presented with a lot more opportunities than they have. So there is a gap in terms of knowledge. I mean, like the availability to us as UK architects at the moment, UK architectural students right now, it's far more compared to what's in Ethiopia. It's an emerging industry over there, and I would say the students did learn a lot from us, but we learned a lot from them as well. As Mandy said, we learned to humble ourselves. I mean, like we had to drop that ego as architects. I mean, I guess that was all. And anything else, Mandy?
Can I say something very positive of this amazing bamboo pavilion? The Prime Minister of Ethiopia was really taken by the design. Sorry. The Prime Minister of Ethiopia was taken by the design. He went in onto the site a couple of times. That was told to me by Mestro. And he wanted the whole structure to be, when the exhibition is done, he wants that to be removed to another national park to be displayed. And I was also told that the opening sequence of a film that they show in Ethiopia is the capital for the African Union. During the opening of the ceremony, the bamboo pavilion was featured at the opening ceremony. I'm trying to get that film, and Mestro is trying to get it to me. So that's amazing for this incredible team of young architects. And thank you.
I guess that's all. We're going to try to connect Meskram in.
We do have Meskram online, but we do not have her picture. But let's try. Hi, Meskram. Can you hear us? It wasn't working just now. Yeah, we can.
You can hear me? Oh, perfect. Okay. So I
I want to say something before we lose the sound again. It's been such an incredible experience, and it was wonderful having you here with us. And what I want the audience to know is that, and particularly the university, that you have really wonderful students who are now going to take on the world. The collaboration part was amazing because they worked with our workers, our day laborers, and some of our professionals. And Sami in particular, who worked with the students, is our regular carpenter, and they managed to really manipulate the bamboo and turn it into the structure they designed. And the collaboration they had with their peer, with their students from the IABC, was also amazing. I'm sure they've left a long-term relationship with them, or they took with them that relationship. And the structure stayed for a while. Mian, who's the master of this program, and also who really was both a professional mentor, but also a mother figure to the students, was really taking care of them like they're her own kids, or own students, or her own children. And so in the end, when all of them left, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia came to visit the spot before the opening, but not during the opening. But at the opening, it was really the highlight of Zoma village, and we kept it as long as we could. But now we have recently removed it because we have another piece of art coming there. So I just want to express my thanks to the University of West England behind this project, and the students, and definitely Mian, who really made this incredible collaboration happen. This is really more of this in the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So this is the end of our talk. On behalf of the team, the Quad, don't forget us, we would like to thank Jos Searle and Jos for helping with these organizations, and Mian for leading us, Bascom and Elias for giving us these opportunities, Sally and Anne, and for helping us organize this talk, Alexander, the man, who helped us set up all this technical stuff and issues. And not to forget, thanks UWE and Arnolfini for this amazing experience today before we graduate. Lastly, thank you everyone for joining us for this evening, and we would like to invite you to come closer to look at some of the souvenirs and models we brought back from Ethiopia. Thank you. Have a good night.